in a very roundabout way with this image of the church. It is the Holy of Holies that is coming down from heaven. That is the bride of the Lamb. It is the most intimate part of the temple that was only reserved for the high priest. That is the dwelling place of God and his people. And this intimacy is like a bride and her husband on their wedding day. That's the image that is being embedded in here. God is not only asking for a relationship, he's asking for an intimate relationship with you. Like a bride and her husband on their wedding night. That's what he's talking about. That's the kind of intimacy we're talking about. We're not talking about a casual, Jesus is my best bud kind of idea. This is far deeper than that. And it's, how do I know that? Because the image that is given here of this cube that comes down from heaven is the Holy of Holies. And that was only reserved for the high priest under the Old Testament. Now, God is saying in this image, it's for how God will dwell with his people. Yes?
So real quick, when Christ died on the cross and the veil was torn, that would have been the veil going not into the Holy of Holies, but into just the outer court?
No, it was the Holy of Holies temple curtain that was torn. When Jesus said it is finished, the temple veil was torn from top to bottom, meaning that this separation is now breached. God will dwell intimately with his people because sin has been atoned for perfectly with the blood of Christ.
Do you know how thick the veil was?
Oh, several inches, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know offhand, but I do know this wasn't just a little shower curtain thing. I mean, this was several layers of fabric in the Old Testament. Yes, that separated. It was no thin thing. It was quite thick. How? I don't remember offhand, but it was several inches thick. This was quite a curtain. So, stay with me. We ended with this angel measuring the walls, 1,500. He also measured its walls, 144 cubits by human measurement, which the angel was using. The wall is built of jasper. The city is pure gold, clear as glass. And again, this is the imagery of the Old Testament ark, the Holy of Holies. Everything in the Holy of Holies was pure gold. The ark, all of the embroidery around it, pure gold. The foundation of the wall of the cities are adorned with every jewel: jasper, sapphire, agate, emerald, onyx, carnelian, chrysolite, beryl, topaz, chrysoprase, jacinth, amethyst. The 12 gates are 12 pearls. Each of the gates is a single pearl, and the street of the city is pure gold, transparent as glass. This is where we get the streets of gold idea from, and it's from the New Jerusalem. Now, I would argue, you notice that there are 12 jewels that are mentioned here. Guess where those jewels came from. The breastplate of the high priest. The whole city is built out of this breastplate of the high priest. Here's another little insight. It said the streets were paved with gold. Go back to Genesis chapter 3. Guess what was underneath the Garden of Eden? Gold. Fine gold, it says. We're going back to the Garden of Eden by way of the book of Revelation. We're right back to where we started from. The same intimacy that God had with Adam and Eve, he's regaining at the end of time via the glorified church. We are the seed of that image. We're not perfect, but we're working on it, right? This is where we will end up looking like. I mean, we're going to be a box that's sitting. No. This again is an image. It's a symbol. And it has symbolic meaning. And the symbolic meaning is that we are going to be in the intimate presence of God at the end of time. Right now, we're still in a veil of tears. We still see him, but in veiled form. In the end, there's going to be no veil. There's going to be no temple. There's going to be no anything. It's going to be God dwelling with and in his people. How do you know that? Because the next verse says that. I saw no temple in the city. For the temple is the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb. And the city has no need of sun or moon. For the glory of God is its light. And its lamp is the Lamb. And the nations will walk by its light. And the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it. Its gates will never be shut by day, and there will be no night. People will bring into it the glory and the honor of the nations. Nothing unclean will enter it, nor anyone who practices abomination or falsehood. Only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. And where did we read about the Lamb's book of life? The previous chapter, chapter 20, in the great white throne judgment. Remember that? When we separated those in the first resurrection from those in the second resurrection. So we're talking about the righteous dwelling with God for all eternity. And it's imaged as the glorified New Jerusalem, as the Holy of Holies. Got a lot farther than I thought I was. Thank you so much for being patient.
Thank you.
We're going to continue with this next week. Well, we're at the end of chapter 21. All we have is chapter 22 left. So